Commander of the transportation vehicle Soyuz, hero of the Russian Federation, Fyodor Yurchikhin.
Fyodor Nikolaevich, the Soyuz MS-04 crew commander, space pilot, the hero of the Russian Federation, Roscosmos, Russian Federation.
Flight engineer of the transportation vehicle, NASA astronaut Jack Fischer.
Soyuz MS flight engineer, NASA, the United States of America.
As well as the backup crew commander of the transportation vehicle, cosmonaut Sergei Ryazanskiy.
Ryazanskiy Sergei Nikolaevich, the Soyuz MS commander, space pilot, the ISS flight engineer, Roscosmos, Russian Federation.
And the flight engineer of the transportation vehicle, Soyuz Randall Brezhnev, NASA, United States of America.
The Soyuz MS flight engineer, the NASA, the United States of America.
Dear crew, congratulations on the successful training at GCDC, successful pass of your integrated training and training overall. And dear colleagues, I think we have a lot of things to discuss. Please go ahead with the first question. Good morning. Congratulations on the completion of your training. You're going to go to Baikonur soon. A question, Fyodor Nikolaevich. You're going to arrive to the ISS and you're going to be there together, just the two of you on the station. How are you going to distribute the workload? There will be just 3 people during the handover on board of the station. How is your responsibility level going to increase? What is going to change due to the reduced number of crew members? Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. Anything can happen. We're hoping that we will be lucky and maybe the number of the crew members will be increased. But as you understand, the amount of work is not going to be reduced if the number of crew members is increased, as you correctly mentioned. If there were 3 crew members doing the same amount of work, well, we will have to run, but running is difficult on board of the station, but we'll have to move a little bit faster. Everything that was planned for 3 will be shouldered by 2 crew members. So the main thing here is the feeling of support. Jack is going to need help on the U.S. segment. It will be complicated for me to work alone in the Russian segment. So I think we will be feeling mutual help and support. We already discussed it on the ground that how we're going to help each other, because you understand there are a lot of experiments. Just to have somebody nearby would increase the safety. Somebody from your team, medical experiments. So Jack has such activities and experiments. So we're ready. Already now we're ready to help each other. So we're going to be floating through the station faster. Jack, do you have anything to add? Thank you very much. The commander said it all.
For Jack Fischer, Jack, explain to us a little bit about the workload that you and Fyodor will have during your 6 hours en route to the space station as a 2-man crew, and once you get up on the station, the workload that the 5 of you will have on orbit as opposed to 6 for that period of time.
And as Fyodor just explained, while we're on the Soyuz, the workload is approximately the same. There are a few activities that we have to do differently without having the 3rd crew member there, pumping condensate, for example. But for the most part on the Soyuz, it will be pretty much the same.
Вопрос от Роба Невиса для Джека Фишера. Разъясните, пожалуйста, насчет распределения рабочей нагрузки в составе 2 человек в экипаже, когда вы полетите на станцию вместо 3, и также в составе 5 человек при пребывании на станции вместо 6. Джек Фишер отвечает, как Федор Николаевич уже объяснил, распределение по нагрузке, оно будет приблизительно то же самое, и единственное, приблизительно та же самая ответственность, и в различии будет касаться откачки конденсата, а в основном работы аналогичны.
As far as on the station, if the schedule stays the same and we're alone for 2 months, we will be working pretty hard to get things done. But luckily, we work really well together, and I don't see any problems. It'll be a higher workload, but we can handle it.
И поскольку у нас будет расписание, когда мы будем в течение 2 месяцев оставаться на станции только вдвоем, но мы будем работать усердно, прикладывать все наши усилия и для того, чтобы выполнить и реализовать рабочий план.
Спасибо. Раша Today, пожалуйста. Да, Лиза Василевская, Раша Today.
Lisa Vasilenskaya, Russian Space. 2 questions. Number 1, except for the official logo emblem that you have as an official crew, do you have some personal logo or emblem? And another question, dear Fyodor Nikolaevich, you're flying to the ISS for a 5th time. Has your attitude towards the station changed over the time? And Jack, what is your thought on this? Well, I would say this is not a 2-question set of many questions. Let's start in order of arrival. That is the emblem. We didn't bring it with us. We were thinking for quite a while. The 2 of us were thinking about it. At first stage, Jack was looking around, and then I was generating the ideas, and we wanted to create an official emblem of our crew for family members of the crew. Then we realized that all the instructors are also our family, so we came up with the idea to create an unofficial emblem for the crew of Soyuz MS-04, and Jack Fischer became the main author of the emblem, so I'm going to let him talk about this emblem briefly. He was giving us the ideas, and he also undertook the responsibility. We're talking about the emblem at this moment. The recent time when I was working as a backup crew, we signed. We were signing the register in the office of the first cosmonaut, and it was very important. Nobody could do this alone. Neither U.S. nor Russia. We can only achieve success only if all of us are going to work as one team. To work and perform joint research. In order to be able to research space together, we're using the example of Apollo Soyuz. It might be difficult to see. I have a medallion. It is quite small. It's 2-sided. The first side is similar to Apollo Soyuz program emblem, and it's one team exploring together. And the other side, it's also Apollo Soyuz, one team.
In English, the last time I was here and working as the backup crew, we signed the book in Gagarin's office, and I wrote that in order for us to succeed, no one can do this alone. In order for us to succeed in exploring space, we have to work together as one team. So we modeled an unofficial patch after the Apollo Soyuz emblem, and used both of those to basically say that we need to work as one team, exploring together.
Was that question number 1? Yes, that is question number 1. I was trying to find it, and we have the photograph. We were talking to children in the Space Exploration Museum in Moscow, and there is a bench given by General Stafford, Apollo Soyuz bench. And we have a photograph of Jack and myself sitting on this bench for both of us. Apollo Soyuz flight was a significant milestone in the relationship of the two countries. To go on about our poster, back in the day, we were on Expedition 53. We had a logo of Expedition 53. There was the Roman numeral 3. We created a very interesting emblem, and there was a decision on reducing the crew and changing the crew members of the crew. So we became increment 5051, and they asked us, are you going to change the logo of your increment? So we decided we're not going to change it. We just colored over one of the vertical lines so it became 52, and one of the solar arrays went into the shadow. So we came up with the idea. So if you look at that logo, you see I am dragging out the paws here as they would do in a good theater. If you look at this logo, then if you look from afar, it looks like a fence. Who is a better team to paint the fence? And I was thinking the idea of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. And I asked my friend, I hope I can call him my friend, a very interesting, a very good artist. He is present here. We're going to keep it a secret so far. I asked him to make this painting. I gave him the idea. And in this painting, there is an interesting component. So for a while between Roscosmos and NASA, the discussion was going on that we're going to probably bring rodents to the station, and they're present on this painting, and we have a container instead of a third crew member. I'm not going to intrigue you any further. So this is our poster. The matter is, during the previous press conference, when we mentioned that we're Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, people were a little bit puzzled. So you see numbers 52, and we already painted one over. And you see the mice, and the main thing for us is the white sun of the desert is a movie all the cosmonauts and astronauts watch it. So the road is easier overcome if you encounter a good companion. I have encountered my good companion, and I believe he can say the same. So wishing everyone a good companion along the road. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, you asked me if I like Fyodor Nikolaevich. The answer is about Fyodor. I can say that he is a professional with a capital P. He served, and he still serves as an example, as a model for me. He is a good crew member, he is a good commander, and he's a good father, and he's a good husband. But the most important is that he is my friend. And as in the movie, the road is easier if you encounter a good companion. It is true. We are a good team, and we are one team, and we're friends. I am very glad. I'm glad to be on board of the ISS with Fyodor.
During the interview, you asked me what I liked about Fyodor, and he is a professional with a capital P. He has served as a model for me, as a crew member, as a commander, as a father. It always impresses me how he speaks with his family, and especially his wife. We both are madly in love with our wives because they are much better looking than us. And it's described in the poster with the quotation from White Son of the Desert, that the road is easier when you meet a good companion, and we've found that good companion in each other, and I'm very excited to be on the station with Fyodor.
Thank you very much for just 2 questions, Lydia. Yes, please, next one. A question to the prime crew. At the end of last week, you were taking your final exams. I couldn't stay for the entire duration. I wanted to ask, what was your task, if you encountered any complications, particularly in the interaction between the two of you, and what was the grade? How did they assess your work? Let's say it this way, we got high grades. As far as off-nominal situations are concerned, maybe there were some off-nominal situations. There were some complications. For Jack, it was the first test, the first exam. He was somewhat nervous. It's understandable and natural. We don't have too many exams. There are just a lot of off-nominal situations. As far as the station side is concerned, we had a deep rest on the station side during the exam. The crew members have completed their work very well. I believe it was excellent. They were working not exactly, we were not working exactly per the idea of procedure, but we have saved to a completed a lot of recovery to a greater extent than if we had worked per the ODF. So do you have, the question is whether we have a concept of the station in our heads, and we do have a concept of the station, and we have a concept of the vehicle, Soyuz vehicle. You see, the right seater also has certain functions. We distributed those functions between the two of us, so we were showing the exam commission how the two of us would be operating in the transportation vehicle. I hope the exam commission was happy with the result. There are always some details that we can work on a little bit. We will have 2 weeks at Baikonur, so we'll continue working. And remember, in this case, we're going to have a short flight to the station, so there will be only 2 of us in the vehicle. Nothing to add. Ekaterina Beloglazova, Российский Cosmos. First question to Jack. I wanted to say thank you very much for your wonderful Russian language, almost no accent, just wonderful. And I saw that almost everyone lists their hobbies. You don't have any listed. Do you really not have any hobbies, or do you have too many to list? And the question, what were you going to take along in order to relax in space? The other question is to Fyodor Nikolaevich about the science research program. There are a lot of very interesting, diverse, and very interesting experiments. Probably not everybody knows that you found silver-toned clouds and not at the location that they expected to find them. And the Terminator experiment, are you going to take a closer look at the clouds? So the 2 questions. I think right now, my hobby is studying the Soyuz vehicle and the Russian segment right now. Maybe I am studying my wife, but on the station that would not be possible. We don't have much time on the station. I just want to see, as the Russian song goes, I want to see the Earth in my station window. Maybe take photographs. You know, Fyodor Nikolaevich is a very experienced photographer, and maybe he can give me a lot of advice on how to do it best.
Right now, my only hobbies are studying the Soyuz and the Russian segment, maybe studying my wife as well, but I can't do any of that on the station. So I think the only thing I'm really looking forward to is looking out of the porthole, like it says in the Russian song. and seeing the Earth from space. Hopefully take some pictures and learn from the very experienced photographer sitting to the left of me, who has taken amazing pictures from orbit for the past 20 years.
Thank you very much, Jack, for this compliment.
Dear Katya, about the science program, I apologize. I told everybody that we have been working with you for a long time and very well together. Unfortunately, starting with Terminator, experiment Terminator is going to slip to the right, and for me, it is a great disadvantage. The experiment was targeting the investigation of the nature of the silver clouds. I'm appreciative. Don't scold me, dear Katya. You, Alec, and myself, you made us love silver clouds, and we started studying silver clouds. These are they have been discovered less than 100 years ago, but the humankind still doesn't know how these clouds appear. And they told us that we saw the silver clouds along the equator. This is 53 degrees and up towards north. So Viktor Petrovich Savinych, Grechko Georgy Mikhailovich, Ivanchenkov Alexander Sergeyevich, the more experienced cosmonauts, they said that they all saw silver clouds along the equator. Guys saw them over South America and along the equator. During the previous increment, I was able to take photographs of the silver clouds over Africa along the equator. So the nature of those clouds has not been fully discovered, and the humankind is not 100% sure how these clouds appear. That is all true. I hope that Sergei Ryazansky brings the equipment. He comes and joins us, and he will be working on that. It doesn't mean that the scientific component is going to be lost. Sergei is such a good experiment investigator. He looks from at the experiment from all sides. He's going to be the one who's going to make kefir in space. It sounds very simple. However, this simple experiment is going to give us a lot of answers for the future. This experiment is targeting the use of dry foods with life cultures for future long-duration experiments. It's a simple experiment, but it has a huge impact on the future. An experiment plasma crystal, I'm hoping to work with next. A lot of experiments on the U.S. segment, and Sergei is going to participate in those experiments as well. And Jack will also be there. This is a symbiosis of all those experiments. Thank you, Clay, for your question. Vladimir Surkovich, Channel 5. Fyodor Nikolaevich, our colleagues have revealed a secret, saying that you have an unusual zero-G indicator. Could you tell us a little bit about it? And the second question about the experiments. Going back a little bit, experiment number 10, investigation of pain sensitivity during space flight. Should we be worried about you? What about pain sensitivity? And how are you going to research that? Thank you very much. In order to involve our backup crew in the discussion, Sergei, I'm going to ask him to participate. He has wonderful education. He is a microbiologist, and he understands what a human person is. He has been working in the IBMP for a long time. He's going to tell us about the experiment. I'm a big lab rat in this case. As far as the zero-G indicator, I'm going to let Jack talk about it as well. The main zero-G indicator has never deserted me. It's getting ready for its flight number 5. It absolutely is going to take part in this flight. Unlike myself, it's still in shape. It's ready. It is silently bearing the hardship of living with me. It climbs the mountains, it flies into space, it goes underwater, so it's my combat buddy, so to speak. And then there is another thought. Our crew members had another thought. I'm going to ask Jack to talk about it a little bit. My daughter has cancer, and the hospital that was treating her is MD Anderson in Houston, and their talisman is a sun with different color rays. And doctors and the specialists in this hospital, they saved my daughter's life. So it's our second good luck charm.
Our second talisman is my daughter has cancer, and the hospital which helped save her is named MD Anderson in Houston. Their logo is a sun with multicolored rays, and the doctors and specialists there are my heroes because they helped save the life of my daughter. So that is our second talisman.
And definitely there is going to be a third one. I have already submitted my idea. It's being discussed that there is going to be. It would be great to have such a good luck charm in one of our cancer centers in Russia. We're participating in a lot of these programs. And you probably know and about one of the programs, HOPE. The HOPE logo is going to be on the ISS as well. As far as experiments are concerned, despite the fact that we have been flying to space for a long time, we still have a lot of very important questions that have not been explained until this time. I say cosmonaut is just an ordinary person. He or she flies to space and can get sick. And the physiological aspects of a cosmonaut flying to space changes, then genetics can possibly change as well. We need to understand what dosage of a medicine needs to be prescribed to the person. Same with the pain sensitivity. We know it changes. How it changes, we don't know yet. Experiments were performed in the IBMP Institute, experiments on isolation, on kinesia, and there are changes. There have been changes. The saturation of blood changes. The sensitivity of pain receptors changes. Nobody's going to torture cosmonauts too much, but the touch sensitivity, that the plate is warm, something you can quantify and measure. It would be very interesting to study how did your threshold change in space. Thank you very much. I knew who to ask to answer this question. TASS agency. Hello. Fyodor Nikolaevich, I am very glad. I would like to join the congratulations on your completion of the pre-flight training, and you're going to fly to the ISS soon. I will be glad to see you at Baikonur. Hope to meet you there as well. Taking into consideration that the microphone is not going to come to me anytime soon, I would like to ask a couple of questions at once. Question number one. Originally, the plan was that in August this year, there will be an EVA. Possibly will fall in your increment. You were expected to participate in that EVA. In the brochure that we were handed out, this is not part of the plan, so the question is going to be an EVA, and if so, when it's going to take place. And the second question, they're going to have a cargo container in the right seat. What is inside the cargo container? What is this? What does it look like? What's inside? And question number 3. April 12th, you're going to be at Baikonur. That is Cosmonautics Day. Are there any celebratory activities you're planning? You're going to participate in them. Thank you very much. I'm going to start with question number 2. They're definitely not going to be mice. We know they're not going to be there. They're in the poster, but they're running out of the container in the poster. The weight of the container, it should be about 70 kilograms, same as a cosmonaut. They have already determined which items can fit tightly into the container. These are such ordinary items as wet wipes. They're quite heavy and they fit into the container compactly, and food items. So the question is to fill the container to make sure it doesn't interfere with us operating the controllers for the descent module. So it's still going to be discussed during the very first fit check. It is currently scheduled on April 6th, where Jack and myself are going to take a good look. And at that time, we will know definitely the list of items packed in the container. As far as the EVA is concerned, I am not sure. Less than an hour ago, the government commission session was completed. During the government commission session, they were giving us a go for that EVA. As far as I know, there is an EVA in our flight plan, and Sergei Ryazanskiy and myself are scheduled to participate in the EVA. We're fully trained to the extent that they were possible. Unfortunately, the Hydro Lab is currently undergoing repairs at GCDC, but the instructors of the GCDC and the management has come up with a lot of interesting tasks for this EVA that were used for our training on the dry simulator. We had EVA 2. So the crew members are trained. Moreover, both of us have numerous EVAs in our professional experience. At the time, mid-August. It's just the training for the EVA is going to start a little bit earlier. I'm going to start training for the EVA per the plan. So the brochures, I'm not sure. We need to ask the authors of this brochure. We will definitely ask that. Now we're curious, Sergey, aren't we? So we want to have the EVA. April 12th. Well, if you know, guys, April 12th. It started at the Baikonur spacepad, and not to celebrate April 12th at Baikonur is impossible. I can tell you today that April 12th for the entire instructor team and cosmonaut team on Baikonur going to be a day off. We're going to watch movies. We're going to celebrate, congratulate each other. That is going to be a holiday within the framework of the quarantine we're going to observe. Doctors are not going to overstep the threshold of all those quarantine sanitary measures. Whether the prime crew is going to have meetings with the public. If so, then only from inside the glass enclosure. The main burden is going to fall on our backup crew. This is a tradition. We were in the same boat the previous time. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. No other questions, I believe. Thank you very much for your question. Thank you very much to our crew members for detailed answers. At this time, our press conference is over. Can we ask you to put your hands over each other? All four of you. Fyodor Nikolaevich, you and Jack together, please. That looks great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.